Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Soccercraft. In the last episode, we finished up this creeper farm, and as you can see, we have gunpowder running into the system. And I haven't really been AFK here all that much, but I've gotten a whole lot of gunpowder. This creeper farm is working excellently. And it's working so well because in between episodes we went ahead and explored a lot of the caves in the area and made sure to light them all up so that all of the spawns that are happening in the area are hopefully happening inside that farm. Now, I'm not completely done lighting up all the caves, but there's only a little bit more that we have to do. And from digging out that giant hole for the creeper farm, we got a ton of resources in our auto sorter. And I pulled out all the valuable resources for the auto sorter so we can repurpose them for something else. And I put them into these shulker boxes. So here we have all of the iron that we got from the dig. This is all the coal, and here's all the more valuable resources. Here's the gold, and in this back shulker, we have a lot of copper. Now, I'm really excited about the copper in this update. I think the fact that it can age and it has different variations of it is really cool. So what we're going to do next is grab that shulker box, grab a fortune pickaxe, and we'll go and get this all fortuned up and see how much raw copper we can get. And after fortuning up all of those copper ores, we got about half a shulker box worth of raw copper blocks. And I believe that is a 1-to-1 ratio. One raw copper block turns into one copper block after it's smelted. So that means that I'm going to have about this much copper blocks worth for building materials to use in this area, because I'm thinking this area is going to look really nice using some copper mixed in. Now, the main thing I want to get started on in this episode is getting started laying out the sand and turning this dark forest into a desert, because that's what we want to build in, a desert type biome, and we need to make this area look like that. So I've got a ton of sand from the Wangshitong library dig. I'm going to bring that over here, get it set up into the auto sorter, and get it, just have somewhere to put it. And then maybe we'll do a little bit more work with the auto sorter today to help us get our materials ready for when we need to go building. And now that I've set up the item filters to take sand and sandstone into the system, it's time to run a few shulker boxes through the system. But I have an idea for an upgrade to this item storage system, and basically all we would need to do is take a bunch of hoppers, run them underneath these chests here, and I want to have a lever in front of every single slot, and whenever I want to load up a shulker box with materials, all I need to do is come to the row of chests that we want. Say I wanted sandstone, I'd flip a lever right here, it would release the items from the chest, send them over here to the eventual shulker box loader that I will make once I learn how to make one. And we have the first part of the storage upgrade in place. Here we have a lot of redstone lamps with levers on top of them. And if I wanted to drain away a shulker box worth of grass, I could flip this lever and it would start draining away. Now if we go look underneath, you will see a lot of hoppers and hopper minecarts. So the redstone lamps are locking the top hoppers to stop them from sucking any items out of the chests from above. And whenever the lever on the redstone lamp is flipped, it allows the items to come through. in the hopper minecart, send them through here really quickly, stopping them from going anywhere else. And it all will end up here where I will eventually build a shulker box unloader. But I still don't know how to do that yet, so I think it's about time we get some work on some stuff I do know how to do, and let's start terraforming this dark oak forest into a desert. And I'm out of sand and I'm bored of placing sand, so let's talk about some redstone stuff. So at the end of that time lapse, you saw me building up the Shulker Loader that I've been talking about all episode. It's right here and I don't have a tutorial for it. I built it up on stream with the help of the guy who designed it. It's not super complicated. Basically, let me see if I can try to figure out how to explain this. So here we have an input barrel where we can put any empty shulker boxes, and that will send it up this item elevator and down into this dispenser here. And whenever an item goes through this hopper, it will activate this observer, which will pass the signal along and activate the dispenser to send the shulker box into its loading station. Now this hopper line brings the items into the shulker box, and this comparator reads to see when the shulker box is full, and it compares it off with this cake, which has a redstone signal level of 14, which is what it needs to read this as full. And once that happens, it will activate this piston, breaking the shulker and putting it into this other barrel for me to take on and do my builds with. Now, I didn't exactly do the best job of explaining how this works, so you can head over to the guy1604 on YouTube. He now has a YouTube channel and he started uploading useful redstone videos, and I'm sure that very soon he's going to have the Shulker Loader on there because he's already got the Shulker Unloader that we have at the front of this storage system. This one right here. So if you're curious about getting a 4x hopper speed Shulker Unloader in your world, go give the guy a look on YouTube. I'll have a link to him in the description, and yeah, you won't regret it. What do you expect? I need sand. And welcome back from that very long time lapse. As you can see behind me, I've upped the render distance so we can see the whole area, and I've placed a ton of sand down in the area. I'm right now upping the render distances, having some trouble loading, but let's fly around here a bit. You can see that what I'm doing here is I'm planning on wrapping all of this desert around this center area where I want to build up another custom mountain. Now, building up custom mountains isn't something that's foreign to me, but I have some other plans for this mountain. We're going for the Sun Warrior Temple in this area. Actually, have I even said that yet? The build that we're doing in this area is the Sun Warrior Temple based around the dragons. I'm so far in this episode, it's been so long, I can't remember if I've said that yet. But we're going to be building up the Sun Warrior Temple mountain with the 2 spires for the 2 dragons, and we're going to be using a bunch of different block pallets rather than just stone this time. I want to throw in andesite and tuff if I can. But I don't plan on working on this mountain today, so let's head down into the base, and I want to talk about a little bit more fun redstone that we have here. If we come right over here, we have a little bit of a game that I like to play with my Twitch chat when I'm streaming, and it is a D20, and that stands for Die 20. It's Dungeons and Dragons talk. It's kind of nerdy, but it's a lot of fun. And basically how it works is in my Twitch chat, if you type !roll, a robot rolls a number between 1 and 20, and we see if the Twitch chat is able to beat me. Now I've created some redstone here that if I come in here, this is shuffling all the numbers up between 1 and 20. And whenever I press this button, it sucks one of those numbers out, plays a little jingle, and lets me know when it's available. So I rolled a 3. The Twitch chat could have very easily beat me in this situation, but I just kind of want to do a little bit of a display and show you how this redstone works. And here's the basic brains of the redstone right here. We have these 4 droppers sending all the items around, going in a circle like so. And then we have this one locked hopper that we unlock for just a moment in order to be able to pull one item out of the droppers. And we have this observer clock shuffling up all the droppers from the top, and you can see here that it is shuffling through all of the numbers here and setting them through all the droppers. Now, in order to give a pulse short enough so that it only pulls out one item, we had to do a monostable circuit. Let me see if I can get it so you can see this here. But this pushes up and gives a very short pulse, which sends to this block here, which will unlock the hopper and pull one item into it. And I have a stack of hopper minecarts here to pull the items down below to a hopper line, which then sends it over here to this item elevator, which pushes it into that barrel where we get it to see it. And then up here is just a little bit of a jingle that I made with the note blocks, and it's timed out so that by the time this last part of the jingle goes off, the item should be in that barrel there. Now the other part of this pulse is it sends a signal up to this piston right here, which will quickly push this observer out of the way, unlocking the droppers, giving it enough time to pull an item out as well. So the timing is very important here. Going from the monostable circuit here, you can see that all of these have slight variations to their timings. And that is because if this has, here, let me see if I can simulate it. If this has a very short timer, sometimes these guys can sync up and stop shuffling. Let me see if I can simulate that. Yeah, there's an example right there. So on this really short pulse, it pushed this out really fast and it caused it to not keep shuffling. And that was something that was breaking the system. Now let me see, let's do this again. And yeah, it should be able to keep its shuffling going when I have it a little bit more delayed. So now up at the top here, the next feature is just an off switch for the shuffler to push the observer out of the way. And we also have another chime here that, here, let me see. So we've pressed the button a few times and we have a few of the items in here. We can now put them back through the system, and when they go through the system, it's a similar idea. They go underneath here to another item elevator, which brings them up and puts them in through this hopper in the back. Now let's just put all of these back into the system. And so every time one of the numbers gets put back into the system, this note block goes off, but it's also used as a bit of an alarm, because the one thing that can break the system is if this dropper gets completely filled. So let me run the system. Whoa, lag. Let me run the system a few more times and I'll show you what happens once that dropper is full. Alright, so this 19 should be the one to be breaking it. So here, let me put it in from behind. And this should make it so that it's easier to see what happens here. So this is full, so the item will get stuck into this hopper, and it'll create a clock, which will make this be more of an alarm to let me know that the system's a little bit jammed, and we need to empty out this dropper and spread it around to the other droppers. And that's the basic showcase of my D20 game. It's a lot of fun on the Twitch chat, and this is probably the perfect time to do a quick shameless promotion. Go head over to twitch.tv/SoccerCraft and give me a follow over there and join us in the fun on the live streams. And with that being said, we are running out of time for today's episode, and we got a crazy amount done. We got this really cool Shulker Unloader behind me, and there now already is a tutorial up on the guy 1604's YouTube for it, so I'll make sure to link that in the description. And we also placed an absolutely crazy amount of sand. And let's actually head up here and have a look at my statistics, because I believe, if I can actually land on here, I believe that the statistic for sand is now becoming very quickly one of the top statistics here. See, I've already placed sand 89,000 times in this world. Now, to be fair, I have drained a fair few rivers, and I do use sand on that most of the time, but that is definitely mostly in this area. I checked through my statistics a few times while I was placing all this sand, and I remember seeing it as low as 30,000, but I'd had already placed a ton of sand at that point when I looked at it. So if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Water Tribe, out.